G'day and welcome. In this chapter we're going to have a look at a couple of Motorcraft 4300 carburetors and strip them down in preparation to make them brand new again. Hope you enjoy. Motorcraft 4-barrel carburetor. It's 4300 or something, I can't remember what they call. Very much the same as Autolite. These were only fitted to 351 vehicles here in Oz, and you will find them on P5 LTDs and some of the GT Falcons as well. I think XA and XBs had them. I'm not sure about XYs. I know the higher spec GTs had Hollies. I'm not really sure about that. What we're going to do with this is we're going to pull it to bits. This is off my wife's auntie's horse truck, 351 manual of course. So I'll pop the lid off, we'll have a bit of a sticky and pull a few things off and see where that gets us. Now all these fasteners here are normally plated black. They're good because there's a washer behind them, which means we can wrap the copper wire around to get them plated and they'll come back looking like new. The only one is that I'm not sure about is there's a slotted one there. So let's see how we go with this. Rightio, we'll just take the screws out. Oh, you come here. A little bit. Have I forgotten any? No, I believe I've got them all. No, I haven't. I've forgotten two. Right here. Let's go in there and pop those two out and see what lies beneath. Now I'm just using a tub and throwing everything in the tub, and including linkages. I'm not worried about forgetting how this goes because I know them reasonably well. But in addition to that, if I do run into some strife, then I've got another one as well. That'll come up nicely. Right. And we'll give him a nice clean air cleaner thread, and yeah, I think that's probably around about it. So we'll just take that off, we'll hang that, get it plated, and it will come back looking absolutely brand new. Oh, it will, believe me. Hang on, I might take this off. Right. Hang on, get out of there, thank you very much. Relieve yourself, carburetor boy. Right, let's have a look. Turn that around, that's our little thing. That's fallen out. That should be in the lid up there. And I've just done, you've got to be careful with these too because there's a ball bearing there. There's a ball bearing in there and you don't want that getting lost. That acts as a check valve, and there's also your accelerator plunger. That actually doesn't even feel bad. Let's pop a jet out. And there is a spring, another check valve underneath the accelerator pump that we can get out. But we have to be careful with that. We have to sort of rotate it out so as not to wreck it. There it is there. And there's a ball under there too. There's a ball in there, there's another one. That's a bigger one. We want to give this to John in a condition where he can really get into it and clean it properly, all in the Venturi and just all over it. Do you know what I mean? But like that is actually a brilliant foundation for a very, very good carburetor build. So I think we might try some of the springs can be tricky and the shafts. Now I don't like taking shafts out of these because the last thing you want is them to shake loose, so they'll have to be Loctited, because the only way I can see to really clean it properly is actually take the shafts and the little butterfly things off. There's a little power valve looking thing down there. We'll go and get some other tools. What else do we need? We can take the choke off. Let's just rip this off and have a look. And again, you know, these sorts of details when you're doing something up or trying to make something look a lot better, then you put the effort in. These are a pain in the neck to get plated because you've got to wrap the wire around them, but you'll notice when you pull these apart, most of the bits and pieces only fit in one way. So that's, I'm not bagging and tagging any of this. If it's the first time you've done it, of course, you would. But if you're used to this sort of thing, then you probably wouldn't need to worry. It's in very, very good condition. And you know what? I reckon we can reuse most of this stuff. It looks fine, doesn't it? Can I get that out? Yes, we can. That's not getting floated. Can I let that piston out? Oh, come on, get out of there, you sorry thing. Maybe not. We'll have to investigate that one, I'm not sure. Right, bottom of the carburetor. Let's pop him off and see what divulges. And then we can, they're different from the top. No, they're the bloody same. It's truth. That means we can put all the really pretty ones at the top. Sometimes when you're plating stuff, you'll see if they're rusty, they look crap. Yeah, these are all well protected, so there's no rust down here. Right here, there's the balls. So that goes to John, and he shall hydroblast that, and it will come back looking absolutely brand new. There's just no doubt. I'll leave that in there. That bit, we'll blow it all out. All your fuel transfers and everything, we'll blow all that out. And we'll just pop that out too. I don't know what that is in terms of what size it is. I think it's a 10mm. But if it's Ford, it's probably 3/8. Right, so that's all good. That will come back looking absolutely stunning. Should we do both carburetors? What do you think? Probably wouldn't hurt, would it? Composite plates. Massive needle and seat, particularly when you're used to motorbikes. This thing's a monster. And we'll pop that out too. The gasket, is that going to come off in one piece? Certainly will. Look at that. This doesn't even, that's really good condition. There's nothing wrong with that. We can effectively reuse it. Now, emulsion tubes. Don't know about those. I think we're going to have to leave the emulsion tubes in. That's these guys with the holes in them. And sometimes these things are, let me see if I can get these off. Sometimes these things are pressed in, you can get them out, but I'm not sure I want to do it. Good thing about Ford is there's no such thing as JIS where Fords are. Is that magnetic? Yep. So we plate that too. And we just make sure we put plenty of Loctite in, just to make absolutely sure these blokes don't come loose and start to fall in the car, because that would fry up the engine in 25 big ways. Beautiful. And you'll be astounded at how good these things look when you get them back. And that shaft should just pop out after this. And we can make up our mind. Sometimes they're painted and sometimes they're anodized, or, you know, they've got some sort of plating on them or whatever. Where's my little screw to my magnet? Dickhead. It's right here. Righty-o. This was green. And I'd be inclined to just clean that up and leave it its natural green colour. So we're not going to do anything with that, we're just going to leave it. Okie dokie, that does look a bit yuck there. Why is there Solastic all over that? Not the foggiest notion, because there's no problem there. I think they just use it as a plug. They have too. How peculiar. Yep, it's all goop. It's all elastic. Where's my tool of dentistry? Come on. That's what the dentist does with me. Pulling all the crap out from between my teeth. We'll get that out later. I don't even care about that. Right. I've got to be careful with these bits. I might pop him out. For that we'll need a 7/16. Oh, look at that. 7/16 fits. And that'll have a fibre washer or something underneath it. Just like that. Sweet. I might put the needle and seed in. I'll stick it in a separate thing. But we're nearly there, people. We are nearly there. Right, let's get some small things and take this guy off here, the choke. Again, you can see there, it's got that lovely green. It's going to come up absolutely beautiful, this thing. It really will. What a bastard. Hang on. These are tricky. Nope. I don't have anything that'll get in there. What about a set of mighty fine ignition spanners from my father-in-law? They look too big too. What is that one? That looks the smallest actually. No chance, Lance. Bugger. How to get those off? No worry about it. Let's just do this instead. Primaries? Nope, that's too big too. Bugger it. What size are these? Okay, it's Imperial. Maybe this size? Yeah. We'll try. Because the only problem with this sort of stuff is you need to get it off. They're not even tight. Oh, they're sort of tight. I've just marked these secondary left and right, primary left and right. Quite often the threads will be peened over. In this case they're not. These ones I will put in a bag to keep them protected, the edges of them, because they are quite precise in their way they're machined. In that they're cut on a specific angle. Let's have a look at this one. Now, some parts I'm not going to bother trying to repair, but in particular, I'm not bothering with a kit. Right. So we've got a nut there. What size are you? Bloody hell, I work on motorbikes, I'm reaching for everything metric now. That's really not like me. I've always been an imperial sort of person. There we go. That's brand. Oh no, that's just regular. Right. Yeah, that guy. Right. So once these are out, this should just fall out. Fall out. Crack it. taking this off. I'm just going to try and grab that with multis. This was quite tight, and I'm not sure why it was so tight. But I don't want to bend. There we go. I didn't want to bend that again. Rightio, we've got the nut off. And there's a spring, and there's one of these little... Has that got a clip on it? What's going on with that? Oh, someone's wrapped copper wire around it. Let me have a closer look. I do have some... Yeah, a bit of copper wire. I do have some clips that are thermoquad that will fit that, and it's also got a badge. Look at this. That's off a badge, like a Falcon badge or something, that plugs in to a guard or a panel, I should say. Let me pop him off. Yeah, that's what that is. Actually, I need one of them for the Fairmont GXL badge. Where's the box of stuff? And I'll organise this. That looks like a standard. That's the same as thermoquad. That secondary lever. Right. There's a spring, and we want to unhook him because we want to bend that. And that shaft should come out. And we're not plating springs because, you know, fine springs like that can get damaged. Oh, bloody magnet. And that should just unplug, which it does, and that should just come off, which it does. And again, this is green. It should clean up quite well. I'll leave that spring there so I know what it is. Where's my other specs? There's my other specs. Let me have a closer look at this guy. Is that going to come out? No, it's going to dent. That's rather bad. Don't want to do that. Don't think it's all that necessary, though. I'd like to take that plastic off. Still, for hydroblasting, I don't think that's going to matter. I'll ask John, see what he says. That's my spanner. 7/16. Take that off. We'll make that look nice and spiffy. And any blockages in there you'll find will all come out. That'll look absolutely great. Just as a measure of interest, what were the screws set at? 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Should be 1.5, I'd have thought. What's this one? 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Yeah, well, that wouldn't have run all that well, I wouldn't have thought. Oops. So we'll take our little mixture screws out, and again, because they've got a machine needle on them, we'll bag those. We need to keep those clean. And the same with the secondary and primary butterflies. I'm just sticking them in small bags that the coil stuff for the 350 Honda came in. They're really good sized little sandwich bags. Pardon me. That's a choke. Yep, that can go in. That can go in. Right, let's have a look at this. Now, this was going to come out. I've taken that off there, so the only thing holding that in is those. I've got a series of springs and levers and kickdowns and all sorts of stuff. And that's where I could get lost. So I've got the other carburetor as a map to put this back together. Right, there's a spring there. It's got a bit of tension on it. So what about if I get my little screwdriver, bring that over like that, and then withdraw the guy. Ooh, look at that. Right, so this thing here, I reckon I'm going to give it to John the way it is there. Not sure about that bit there. It's protruding. I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to bother with that. And the same with this thing here, because I don't think I can get that out without. Yes, I can. So that's cool. That looks like a Welsh plug, a disc type, like you find in the MG, and the Plymouth's got one too, where you just drop it in and then smack it in the middle and it'll expand out. But that's ready to be cleaned up. There is this thing here. Oh, that's stiff. I'd like to get that done, but again, I don't know how much value it is in doing it. But let's just take it out. It is pretty stiff on the thread. It's like got a waxy stuff on it. Maybe this was a bad idea doing this. I think they've coated something on it so it keeps its setting, whatever the setting was. And there's also that one on the plastic thing. So plating these sorts of things are very risky because there's no head on it to sort of keep it, if you know what I mean. So that could get lost quite easily if you weren't careful. And that'd come out, but I'll just leave that. I don't think it's worth pulling that out. Right, so that's done. Now there's this. We've got to revisit this because these guys wouldn't come out. Which was something of a pest because the rest of it is ready to go, except for that. How's this held in? Does that unscrew? No, it breaks. How to get that off? Or is it pressed in? Or does it screw in? I think it screws in. Oh. Yeah, it's got a fibre washer. That sort of thing normally comes with a kit. We've just got to get this off. We do want to clean this up because it looks like total ass. Keep the socket down. I don't like doing that, but I'd sooner do that than cut into those bolts. And we can get to them that way. The shaft is actually radiused on the edges. And it just makes it difficult, that's all. Can I get onto this one here? Yes, it's loosening and loosening like a goose. The other thing is I want to keep that green and get that thing plated as well. And I didn't want it to go the Hydro Blast with that in because it'll feel scratchy with the glass shot that's in there. Or that gets left in there. What size is that? 1/4 inch? No, it's smaller than 1/4. 730. Oh, hang on, it could be this one. No, it might not be. It might be this one. Yeah, it is. Actually, I had to stick tape on the end of the extension because the socket flew off and went into the grinding disc and I thought I was going to wear it. Oh, I hope it's not too tight. I don't like that. I don't want to bend it. In a sec, can I just hold that for a minute? Let me have a look. And we've got the things hanging down inside too, so I just need to be quite gentle with it. Come on. Oh, that's tight as a fish's. Oh my gosh, that is really tight. Oh, that broke. Far out. That's kind of bad. Right. That's really bad. I thought that might happen. Okay, that's cool. We'll just sand the end of that so it doesn't look like it's munted because I just damaged it and have to drill that out. Alrightio. Well, it's not always going to go well, is it? You're going to have some hiccup somewhere along the way. Let's take this out. And splendid. Right. Right. Oh, that's going to piss me off if I could have left that there. Oh, man. Let me take you off. No, it wasn't. Oh, bugger. I could have left it on there. Oh, that really pisses me off. Damn. I'll have to drill it, tap it, do all that sort of stuff. That is a pain. Oh, rightio. That's metal. And you see it used to be that lovely colour. But we'll get that redone. Right, so that top housing now is disassembled. We can't do any more. It's all looking rather spiffy. We're going to have to be really careful with these emulsion tubes. I don't know how you get those out. I'm not going to take them out. Could be that they're pressed in, but I think you stand to do more damage by trying to remove them. A bit about this carburetor, and that's that it's in absolutely outstanding condition. Even the gaskets, even though a lot of people won't want to reuse gaskets, they're perfectly fine to reuse. They don't even feel dry. They're good. The body of the thing's in great condition. The carburetor, even though it's dirty, is impeccable. So we've got a whole bunch of other bits and pieces to look at. These will go off to be hydroblasted, and let me just get the rest of it. Where does that go? It goes like sort of like that, sort of like that. There we go. Then we've got this stuff here. Right. Obviously, these bits are the jets and that sort of stuff. We're not plating or doing any of that stuff. Nor are we doing the floats. We're not doing that. Let me have a bit of a look through here. Plunger? Yeah, we can do that. I'll just take the rubber off. But the rest of it can get done. Probably not those. I'm not going to bother with those things. So, you know, there's going to be odd bits and pieces like this which you don't bother with. But the rest of it, I won't do that. That was stupid in every way. That was just dumb. Because I didn't need to damage it. Now, the good thing about that is it's round. I can stick it in a lathe, put a centering bit in there, just get it dead on, and drill it out on a lathe. And that's what I'm going to do. Then we're going to tap through it. And whatever I've got, metric or imperial, it doesn't matter. I'll just make it fit. Right, now we're at the point where I've worked out what I want to get plated. I've worked out what I'm going to keep. Copper wire, it's normally sold in hardware shops in the, that's half used that one, in the picture frame hanging aisle, for want of a better word. And it's important to get the stuff that's clean copper wire. It's not insulated with anything. I like to put something sort of reasonable, not heavy, but something to weigh it down at the bottom. I've got one of the screws around the wrong way. And you can literally rest your hand on the bottom one to tighten the copper like that, and then just twist it around once. And that will hold it in a very stern way. The other thing I've changed my mind about is I thought the mixture screws were brass, but they're not. They're steel. Hang on, let me get onto this. And they look to be platable. So I'm just going to finish off doing these, and there'll be a few strings. And a few extras, and I'll show you why. It's nice and tight. Things like this are a problem. They're choke screws. There's no washer to hold them in. So it's a similar sort of thing, but you have to make absolutely sure it's tight as a drum. So they're not going to come off. And the wire will sort of lock into the threads a bit. So I'm going to make runs of about 600 millimeters long, and leave a little bit at the top. Now, a lot of plating guys charge a lot of money to do this sort of thing, and what they're charging for is the labor involved with stringing it up. And that's why I always do it first, because the joint I go to, which I haven't done that very well, which I keep referring to, is Warner's Metro in Bayswater. They stopped doing the fiddly stuff because they were losing too much money in the labor involved with doing this stuff. So that's the reason I do it. This looks like a stubborn screw. There we go. So I'm just going to continue doing that, and I'll give it to them. I'm going to get it done in gold zinc, because that's what Ford used to use. Okay, so we've got 5 strings, and the reason I've got 5 strings, because I'm doing 2 carburetors. I'm doing the one that I was donated. It looked good, but it was nowhere near as clean as that inside, believe it or not. And it also had a little bit of corrosion around the throttle body. So I'm going to take these off. They'll go off for hydroblasting. This stuff's going to go off and get plated, and then we'll put them back together. And there's only going to be a couple of parts they need. I don't think they need a full kit at all. Anyway, look, I hope you've enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. What do you reckon? Shit. Jesus.